And then chirp number 1, rookie camp recap. Our own Smitty was at rookie camp in Warrior Ice Arena. This is a real big step for the pod.
Yeah.
Just being right down on the battle lines and just being right down there and seeing an up close look at. We had some video on the X and had an up close look at a lot of the young players, the camp invites, and also some of the Providence Bruins that were on the roster. And what were who were a couple of the ones that just stood out for you?
To me, I think it was a lot of the guys that have been there before, more veteran players that, Trevor Kuntar was one who, this is probably his second or third rookie camp now. He flashed. He's always around the puck, really competitive. Had a huge grin on his face the whole time. He really seemed to enjoy being kind of a leader out there. So he was one. I thought Riley Duran was really good. He just has the size and speed, I think, to really make a difference, possibly on the fourth line, even for the Bruins this year. I think he could be a dark horse for the fourth line for the Bruins. And I was hearing some people talk about Duran, saying that he might be a guy that is better suited for the NHL game than he is for college or the American League. Playing with better players and faster players and players that can think the game well and compete well. They said, some people have said that his game might be more conducive to the NHL level. So it'll be interesting to see if he can crack the Bruins lineup in training camp here. And then, John Farinacci was pretty good. A couple of invites, Carlin Desande and I can't think of his first name, but Vidicek.
Marcus
Vidicek. Both camp invites. Showed some flashes, good shots, good hands, good passing. And then on defense, I thought Loke Johansson looked really good, solid defensively, can skate well, can move the puck. And then Jackson Edward and Frederic Brunet both looked pretty good as well. Edwards kind of just physical all over the ice and has some offensive ability as well. And Brunet plays a really good all-around game. So I think all those guys, may have chance in the near future to maybe not Johansson, but Brunet and Edward in the near future to possibly, end up on the Bruins.
And Brett Harrison sighting. He had 3 goals in the Prospect Challenge, 3 goals and an assist. He played on the line with Farinacci and Duran.
Mm-hmm.
And that line played pretty well. The very first game against Pittsburgh, they came out kind of gangbusters, had a really good first period. Bruins were up 3-0 or 3-1 at one point, 3-1. And then Pittsburgh, who had Rucker McGroarty on the team, he just kind of took over the game. They scored 5 unanswered goals, and that was it. But that line, as you said, was pretty good for Boston. And Harrison needs a big camp. Like, he needs a big camp, and he needs, he's not going to make the team, the roster, but he needs to have a really good camp, and then go out and score 20-25 goals this year at Providence. And if he doesn't, then he's probably not going to make it.
Yeah,
it's just,
this is a make or break year for him.
Yeah,
it really is. I mean, I know he's 21 and he hasn't been around, for that long, but he was drafted a few years back, and we've been hearing his name for a while as a guy who could possibly, be a guy that the Bruins could look to in the future. And he just hasn't developed the way you'd want him to. He has an NHL shot. We've mentioned it before. He's similar to Frank Vetrano, where he has an NHL caliber shot. It's the rest of his game that he needs to round out and figure out and get moving in the right direction and produce. He hasn't produced. And if you can't produce at the AHL level, you're not going to produce at the NHL level, certainly. So, like you said, he needs to have a really good camp, and then he needs to go down to Providence and put up 25, 30 goals and kind of reestablish himself as a top level prospect for the Bruins.
Yeah, and Harrison was the highest draft pick by the Bruins at the rookie camp as a third-round pick. He and Kunta were both third-round picks. Farinacci was, but he was drafted by Arizona. There were no first-round picks, no second-round picks, and no fourth-round picks. So everything else was fifth, sixth, seventh, and camp invites. So Harrison is the highest draft pick by Boston at rookie camp. So, he's got to be a guy that gets back on the map this year. Only had 5 goals last year in Providence. And we've talked about this before. If you are any type of goal scorer, then you have to score at least 20 goals in the AHL to be considered someone who can do anything at all in the NHL. You certainly can't be a 5-goal scorer. So that just doesn't look Zach Senyshyn. You can't be, you can't Jack Studnicka. They just didn't have great numbers. And that translated into never really being an NHL player. So that's really a benchmark. Like Georgi Merkulov had 30 goals. So that's good. That's a good sign. That's a sign that if he has a good camp and maybe he can produce in the NHL. But if you don't do that, then you definitely can't. So, all right, Chirp 2.